Welcome to Greenshine Farmer's video blog about a family starting a farm and going back to the homestead lifestyle.
Hey guys, welcome to Greenshine Farmers. In today's episode we're going to show you how to set up your own indoor microgreen operation. Now, it doesn't need to be anything complex and you can make it as big or as small as you'd like. This is something that you could set up and have in your living room so you could have fresh microgreens for you and your family. And the reason we wanted to do this video is because we've gotten so much positive feedback on our first microgreen video that it tells us that a lot of people are into this, and I think that's because it's something that's very accessible to most people. You don't need to have any land, you don't even need to have really any farming knowledge to grow really great microgreens in your home. So right now we're walking over here to the barn. We've had everything kind of put away for because we've just been doing them in the greenhouse, but now that winter's coming, we're actually getting it set up inside. We have a heated space in there, so we can essentially grow microgreens all through the winter. So I'm really excited to get this old tower out. Now me and this micro tower go way back. I mean, this was our foray into farming. Before we had any land, before we had even grown a crop in the ground, we started growing these microgreens in our spare bedroom. And we were living in Chicago at the time, and we wanted to grow something, and so we built out this micro tower. And it's a pretty simple design. You know, we basically have these reservoirs here that you can pour water into to water from the bottom up. It takes some T8 lights to as your light source, and then these are kind of the posts. Okay, so our setup is very easy. It's very simple to build. It basically has four main parts. So we've got the posts down here, and these are just 2x4 posts with blocks cut out and screwed in, and those will provide the support for these pieces of plywood. And I'll put the dimensions of everything in the show notes. Over here we've got our reservoirs. Now this is just 1x6 boards nailed together with a food grade poly liner. And then over here we've got our lights. Now we're using 6500K T8s. 6500K is going to be on the cooler side of the spectrum, so better for vegetative growth. Once you've got that side in, stand it up and do your other side. Alright, once you've got those in, just put your other layers on, and you might have to move them a little bit, slide them in. I always like to put it in with the smooth side facing up. Alright, once you've got your pieces all in place, you just slide your reservoirs in. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much about seeding because we did in our previous microgreen video, so if you want to kind of get a more in-depth look at how to seed microgreens, just check that video out. But we have learned some things since we made that video that I figured I should share. So one big thing for us was using a sanitizer. So this right here is Sanidate 5.0. It's a food grade sanitizer, and what I'll do with that is I'll just kind of spray the inside of my 5-gallon bucket. You just really need to coat it once. And then, if I'm going to soak pea seeds or sunflower seeds, I'll put them in here, and then I'll take, I've drilled holes in this lid so that it's easy to just, pour the water out once they're done soaking. And I usually soak them for around 12 hours, so I just might, start it at night so they're ready in the morning. And for those sunflower seeds, I'll use a mesh net like this to put the sunflower seeds in because they tend to float to the top. Okay, now for seeding, I'm just going to take about 3 yogurt containers full of cocoa and pour it into this tray. We've got our tray with holes, and then on the bottom we've got trays without holes. And I'm then going to take just like a wooden block, whatever, and just kind of tamp it down to give you a nice flat surface. And the reason we use cocoa is it's a sterile medium. So, you know, we're doing this indoors. I've experimented with using compost mix and things like that, and indoors it's really not the best. So this is a sterile medium, and that's very important, especially when you're growing indoors. The other reason we use cocoa instead of peat is not really a sustainable resource. They're mining these peat bogs, which is really bad for the environment. I'm not going to go too into it, but cocoa is a great alternative, and I have a local source of it. My buddy just gets you know, a bulk supply because he has a soil business, and he's getting cocoa without salts, and I've seen really good results. So that's what I would recommend as the growing medium. And when it comes time to seed, we're just taking a little plastic cup, and I have a scale here, and we're just going to weigh out 41 grams of seed. That is the weight that I have found works best for radish, to give us the perfect density for optimal growth. And so we're just going to shake in about 41 radish seeds. And the reason you can just kind of eye it out and do it by hand, and that's how we used to do it, but you know, having it weighed out, it's easy to delegate this to somebody else and say, you know, this is the system, just follow this and you should have good results. So once we have our cup of seed, we're just going to kind of sprinkle them like this. And once you have all your seeds in, you can just kind of tamp those down with the wooden block. And you just want to spread them out as evenly as possible. They can grow pretty close together. You just really don't want them piled up on top of each other because they're just more susceptible to mold that way. Alright, and now once I have like a row of trays done, I'm just going to water in with a garden hose. If you're doing this in an apartment and that's not really an option, you could use a watering can or you know, just anything that's going to kind of evenly disperse your water. Then when that's done, I'll take, I'll stack them about 3 high and put just a tray on top, and that helps hold in the moisture. And having them 3 high, you might want to put a weight in this top one so that they all have some weight on them, and that just helps them build up a thicker stem, like I said. Okay, here we are. We've got our micro tower set up. You can see it's 4 levels, and when we water, all we're doing is we're filling up a thing like this, and I'm just kind of pouring it down in the sides here, and that will fill the reservoir, and everything, you know, this is called bottom watering, so the plants will absorb it from the bottom up. And this works well because you can see here with this arugula, this is a daintier crop. You don't want to be pouring water on it, you know, and you don't really, to go with a spray bottle is not really efficient. So the bottom watering method works really well. See up here we've got some pea shoots, and these are all ready for harvest. So we're going to be harvesting today. I also set up this second rack here, and this is just a basic shelving rack from Lowe's. They're about 80 or 90 bucks, and it allows me to fit 16 trays. You know, our lights, these are just, you know, basic T8 shop lights. I'll put a supply list in the show notes, and the purpose of this, you know, we're not really watering these. I just uncovered these today, and the purpose of these is just sort of a place for the micros to sit while they germinate. So we've typically got them stacked, and I just unstacked them last night, and then we take the lids off, and this is kind of what you're left with. So I like to uncover when they're just about, I mean, just a little bit smaller than this. They shot up a bit overnight, but typically when they get up just above the ridge here is kind of a good time I found to uncover them. You don't want to uncover them too soon because you'll be giving up weight. They actually develop a thicker stem when they're stacked, and that's why we do it like that. And the longer they're under light, the more chlorophyll they'll develop, and that can give them more of a bitter taste. So, you know, if you were to harvest these golden like this, they're super sweet. So that's another thing we might do, is some golden popcorn shoots where we actually grow them in the dark and then uncover them right as we harvest. And so they never really get any light, so they're just kind of pale, but they're super sweet that way. So we might. All right. So when harvesting these, we're just using a really sharp machete knife, and we're just kind of getting down here and harvesting them like that. The reason we use a knife is because scissors tend to crush rather than to cut. However, for the daintier greens like arugula and radish, we use really sharp scissors because the machete doesn't really work for those. And a lot of people have asked, if you leave the tray after you cut it, will it regrow? And the answer is yes, it will. We typically don't, just because our space is limited. But if you were just kind of doing this for yourself as a hobby, and you wanted to save money, you absolutely could leave the seeds and they would, for the most part, regrow. We've got a tray right here that I cut last week, and you know, I might have missed like that one, but most of these actually were cut and they're starting to, you know, sprout new tendrils. So So once those trays are all harvested, I give this thing a good wipe down with some cleaner and paper towels, and it's ready for the next batch. Okay, now when these are ready, we're just going to take them and move them over to the other one. And we'll take these bottom trays out. They don't have any holes, and these do. So the trays with holes just go in there. That way they can absorb the water. Okay, now if you see any black seeds like this, I just kind of pull them out. Every now and then you're going to get some seeds that kind of go rotten, and it's not a huge deal. I just kind of pick them out, and as long as there's not too many, I don't worry about it. Anyway, that just about wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. Check us out on Instagram at Greenshine Farmers, and feel free to check out our other channel, Acura Botanicals. I'll put links for everything in the show notes, and if you have any questions, please reach out. This is a really easy setup that pretty much anybody can do, and for $200 or $300 you can be in business and be growing fresh microgreens in your living room. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. If you guys like this video and you'd like to see more like it, leave us a comment down below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, visit us at greenshinefarms.com and follow us on Instagram at greenshinefarms. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.